Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis here, and as you guys can see on screen, Battle.net is having some service issues today. They did tweet out about it, and Zador, thank you for the follow. Start this thing off right. Estimated wait time, 387 minutes. That is a long time. Now, I was hoping to work on my Titan and level up, but Battle.net says, hey, maybe it's time to make a video. So guess what? I've got a lot of things to talk about in the ViDoc. I spent yesterday on Twitch breaking it down frame by frame, kind of pausing and looking at certain things, and that ended up being 2 hours, so I knew that wasn't going to work for a video. That's way too long. So I'm going to break this into chunks and put stuff up on the YouTube channel for things that I'm anticipated for, talk about speculation on each one of these, and so we're going to go with one of my favorite pieces first, and it's going to be talking about armor. They said armor 2.0, and I about lost my mind. So the reason I've got this in Premiere right now, it's one of the best things I can scroll through and zoom in and look at frame by frame and stuff like that. I can literally move his hand up and down frame by frame, so that's kind of what I'm going for. So what we've got here, for one, heads up, this is going to be all guessing, speculation, take it all with a grain of salt, whatever you want. But they said armor 2.0, and this goes in line with one of the biggest things they wanted to get into for Destiny 2. They said the words MMO during the stream yesterday, and that's like amazing to me because I came from playing a lot of World of Warcraft. There were skill trees, there were a lot of armor perks, and there were different builds and things like that. This is what I want this game to get back to, and I've been praying for it for a long time. Praying sounds extreme, but you know, hoping for it. And when they said armor 2.0, and when I see this image here, I am so pumped. So let's take a look. Armor 2.0 they describe as more depth and customization, and kind of having almost a transmog effect. Now, if you haven't played a game with transmog or you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, transmogrification, in a sense, means looking how you want to, and then still having the functions of other things. So, actually, Anthem, while it has its struggles, had one of the best systems for that I'd ever seen. You had complete and total, like, paint job on your javelin. You can cover paint here, look this way over here, have this material over here, but the like abilities that you have on your javelin, your weapons and things like that, those were completely separate. So your cosmetic and your fashion game can be whatever you wanted it to be, and then your abilities would be totally separate from that and not affecting it at all. This is getting closer to that. Probably not exactly that, because I'm not just going to have a paint job and a fashion show with my Guardian, but you are going to be able to look how you want to and still get the perks that you've unlocked, experienced, or seen. At least that's my understanding. So, when you look at this character, he's wearing the Noble Constant Type 2. It's a helmet. It's fine. Basic helmet, probably one of the early starting ones. And there's a couple things that we see here that are noticeably different. First, and let me zoom in, we've got right here, armor mods is kind of this whole window. And it says arc. I guess that's going to be kind of the energy type that we're dealing with. So you got 8 arc energy. Maybe that's what allows you to use these perks specifically. Some have a little baby arc symbols on them. Some do not. Maybe they're intrinsic, maybe they're not. But you have 8 points, and you have 8 blocks right here with look like 2 that are either unavailable currently, whether they're not allowed on this piece of armor. Maybe like raid armor can get 10 slots. Maybe this one can get upgraded to get to there. And this mod slot right here kind of looks like maybe this one gets unlocked later. So I don't even know how the unlocks on all of this works and what classifies like why does this armor have this many energy points and why does this armor have this many energy points. No clue, honestly. But what you can see is the way some of this functions. We've got this armor mod right here. Now, it looks to be some type of recovery. And by recovery, I'm using the little plus symbol to shoot in the dark and guess. But it also says a little 5 in the corner. Now, this seems to be equipped, and we've got 5 blocks of the 8 used. 3 up here are unused. So it almost is like build your armor however you want. Now, that has some cool things, some cool ideas to it, because maybe you want some more powerful perks, but maybe you only get 2 of them just because they're worth a little more. Say this one's worth 5. Now, say miraculously this armor was able to hold 10 pieces, or 10 energy points, whatever you want to call it. Maybe I could put another 5, a perk costing 5 up in here and just have those 2. Now they may be a little more powerful because they cost 5 and I only get 2 perks, but they have a little more weight to this build that I'm specifically going for. Because we have right here, we have a +5, looks like a recovery possibly that's worth 5, and right below it, a recovery that looks like it's worth 3. So those two right there show that there are different levels of these perks possibly. Some mean more, some may have more weight to them, some may push the effect a little bit more. Now, that alone is really cool because you get choice. It's not just like, hey, here's a random roll. Oh, God, really? Another one? Did I get the right scavenger perks on this one and my armor loadout? And is this working properly? Is any of this stuff what I want? I have no idea. Did I get my, umpteenth prodigal whatever? Hopefully not. Like, this is going to be to a point, hey, do I have the full prodigal set? Cool. I only need one of those. I don't need 15 of them. Maybe this would actually help my vault, which would be amazing. And we've got perks that I can pick. So if I get my full Crucible set, for example, I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to the Crucible, I want to look like this. What are my perks? Well, what's a good Crucible build? Let me go build that for each one of the armor pieces in the slots. Now, different slots are probably going to have different perks available. That would be a thing. And at some point, I've got a question as I'm doing this live on Twitch. We've got basically kind of the masterwork look as well. Now, the masterwork may be a completely separate thing on top of that. Maybe that's its own perk. Maybe it's its own tree. But we've got what looks like an arrow to go back over here. So there's probably another page of perks we can't even see. But as you can see here, he could have 5. And then I could pick, maybe I want more recovery. So put another 3 right next to it. Maybe I do that. Or maybe each one has to go into a specific slot. I don't know. But you could do a 5 and a 3. Or I could do a 5, a 2, and a 1. Or if I have 8, and maybe I somehow have 4 slots, maybe I can do a 3, and a 1. 4 2s. I don't actually know how much flexibility you're going to have. If certain perks have to go into certain slots, maybe. Like, these seem to have a purple outline, so these might have to go in the purple slot. And then this one right here might take the blue slot. And then this one might take the little green slot. Again, lots of speculation. But there's going to be some customization in, like, how do I want to build. And I can have a fashion game for a change as opposed to, hey, what has the perks I want? Cool, throw that on. I still look like I'm homeless. Like, I don't want that anymore because currently playing right now as I'm trying to level up, I look very homeless. So that is one piece. Now, the other thing is the stats that they talk about with regards to armor. What do we have right now? Recovery, resilience, and mobility, which to me don't do much, especially coming from Destiny 1 when we had stats that affected your playstyle a little bit more. Well, we can be happier when he moves his hand up just a little bit. It's kind of hard to see, and if I zoom in, it's going to get worse. But down in this bottom right-hand corner, where my mouse is at, you'll see Discipline, Intellect, and Strength, and those were stats in Destiny 1. Now, Discipline affected your grenade recharge rate, Intellect affected your super recharge rate, and Strength affected your melee recharge rate. Now, we don't have one for class ability, and that's a new ability. Maybe that's one of these other mod perks or something, who knows. But we're having more stats on our armor, which is a good thing. And maybe you build this right here. So maybe this armor comes with a basic set of perks. And maybe the Crucible set has a little more mobility because you want to be fast in Crucible. It's got some resilience, some discipline, some strength. And this is where different sets is going to come into play because your base stats may be the same. But if you're going for like, hey, I want a huge recovery build. If I get tagged, I want to get back in that fight as soon as possible. Okay, so Crucible set. Maybe that one doesn't have recovery. Maybe Gambit has a good recovery set. So I take a Gambit set of armor, and I start throwing recovery into it, trying to max this thing out. So I'm like peak to the top, and then I'm getting my recovery back. But Gambit also has like really good discipline that starts with that high one. So I can start building towards like grenade recharge rate even faster. So taking that set versus say, so right there, I've got faster recovery and faster grenade recharge time. Versus, say, the Crucible set. I want to be a shotgun ape, as people call them. And I want to go mobility, so ADS quicker, movement speed, and all that stuff. And also want to add strength, so if I get close, my melee's up as much as possible. I cut my melee charge time in like half with all these like mods that I've got. And then my mobility's up higher, and that's how I've spec'd for it, so I'm moving faster. I wish mobility actually made you sprint faster, but that's a whole different argument entirely. But that's the difference. You have somebody who's going to be recovering quicker, getting in enough fights, throwing more grenades. Somebody who's running faster, punching more, being able to have that melee ability up often. Those are starting to really feel like builds at that point. Now that's exciting to me because that's the type of stuff I'm looking for. So Armor 2.0, if any of this is true, it says armor screen. You can read a screen right here. Zoom in on it. Armor preview screen. These I know are hard to read, but discipline, intellect, and strength are on there. This is a Destiny 2 armor. Some of these perks are out here. And there's quite a fit that we can look at. Like the customization of like you have 10 points to spend on this piece of armor. How are you going to use them? Well, this is like some very cool stuff. Like this perk down here under his hand. Let me see which way his hand actually goes. There. So now you can see all the perks. Now, I can't quite see if that's 5 or if this one is 6 right here. That's an expensive one. You might go 6, 1, and 1, if that's even a thing. Now, this may be a powerful perk. Maybe there are some very powerful perks. Maybe there's some armor with more energy than 8. All these things are things we can speculate about. But this one screen, if I can talk about it for 10 minutes, as you guys can tell, I'm very excited. So, I just wanted to talk about Armor 2.0 in this video, just because to me, this is something I can really look forward to. And the customization and builds, going back to stats mattering, armor having customizable perks, actually having a fashion game, all of these things from one frame, the little blip about armor, I'm going to let them say it for just a second to wrap this thing up. So here we go. And you can see a little bit more here. Actually, this frame is kind of questionable.
In the game, if you have...
So over here, you've got the same piece of armor that he's working on, same perks, and you're looking at these. But over here on this side, you've got, it's hard to tell, I know. But over here, it looks like we've got base stats like plus 10, plus 5, plus 20, plus 20. So he's adding to like mobility, resilience, intellect, and discipline. So he's added to those stats, boosting up his max and trying to get closer to like a maximum value or what the peak, you know, capabilities of that armor could be. So in general, this is really cool. So I'm going to go back to Zoom, let this thing finish out, and we'll wrap this up.
Have an armor set that you like the look of, but you have another armor set that you like the way it plays, you're probably going to pick the one that you like the way it plays.
And that's the truest thing of all right now. If you have an armor set that you like the way it plays, be it has perks or scavenger or reserves, that's the one I'm going to use 99% of the time because that's the one I want because I'm going for function over fashion generally. Now you don't have to make that choice.
Armor 2.0 is focused on allowing you to take the mods that you've unlocked and apply them to any given piece of armor.
That sentence right there is absolutely amazing. Take the mods you've unlocked and apply them to any piece of armor. So you have to unlock the mods. We don't know what that process is going to be, whether it's having armor with those mods, getting a drop that has those, and now it's usable on all. Don't know how the unlock is going to work, but once you have it unlocked, use it wherever you want. That is so amazing.
When I move my cursor over one of these mod sockets, it immediately shows me all of the mods that are available to me.
So that pretty much clarifies that one. That mod socket can have some of those. So, I mean, this thing over here, he cannot use these because they cost too much. He can use the 3s, the 2s, the 1s, can't use the 5, or if that one's actually a 6, I don't know if it's pixelated too much or not. But you can actually see over on the right, you got mobility plus 20, resilience plus 23, discipline plus 10. And those little things are so cool. But yeah, each slot is going to have its own set. So this one may be specific things that you can work on, but having like at least a pretty solid amount of choice, it may not just be like, hey, every slot is totally open, but the fact that you can have a slot on a helmet and be like, okay, these are the perks I can pick. And if he picks 5 over in this slot and he picks a 3 over here, the middle 2 probably won't have anything. But maybe there are some cheaper ones that are like 2, 2, 2, and 2. So he has more perks that do a little bit less, but he can have a little more customization. Maybe one's ammo reserves, a little bit of recovery, a little bit of ammo. Like this is like a level 5 recovery, and this is probably a level 3 recovery. The 5 is going to do more, but if he does the 3, he's got more flexibility in his perks. So again, your choice of builds sounds so cool. So I'll let him finish it up, sorry.
To me.
And that will be a tease for the next video when we talk about the Eye of the Gate Lord seasonal artifact and more speculation, because that's a whole different thing. So, as for Armor 2.0, that is basically all I've got on this video. Thank you guys for tuning in. I am insanely pumped about this one, if you can't tell, because I can talk about this for a lot longer than 15 minutes, but I should probably wrap it up. If you guys haven't yet, I do have a Tiltify campaign going on for Guardian Con and St. Jude. I've got the link down below in the description, so if you guys are feeling generous right now, it's all for the kids. So if you guys have any donations you're looking to do, anything like that, got some spare cash laying around, got a bonus, and you guys want to help out St. Jude and help them fight, cancer and kids, it is an amazing thing they do. Guardian Con puts this on. 100% of the funds go to them at St. Jude. So please, if you're feeling it right now, I appreciate any and all of the support that you guys do put my way. But right now, let's see what we can do to help them out. My goal is $500 by the end of July. Let's see if we can make that one happen. But you guys know where to find me. Twitch and Twitter. It's Ebontis on both, but right here on YouTube. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like below, share it with friends if they're curious what's coming in Destiny 2. And if you guys haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and the alert bell. That will keep me in your feeds, because I think YouTube is always trying to find different ways. So that subscription alert bell definitely helps. Have an awesome one. I will see you soon, and enjoy.